With this image, Healing Spot, Healing Clone Me, what I want you to do is use all three. Use them as you need to. Not any specific way, except I will ask you to use the clone stamp tool on the lips, and I'll show you that in a second. The objective here is to take this image and clean up some of the wrinkles, make her look a little bit younger, and you're going to do that using the techniques that we've already learned with the spot healing brush tool, the healing brush, and the clone stamp tool. The only thing I want you to add to this is I want you to create a separate layer for the forehead edits, the eye edits, and the lip edits. Them being on separate layers allows you to adjust the opacity of those separately. If they were all on the same layer and you wanted to dial down the forehead edits differently than the eye edits, you couldn't do it. So this way, if they're on separate layers, it allows you to change the opacity of those layers independently. So let's take a look. For example, I'm going to zoom in here and you'll take a look at the forehead and you'll see there aren't as many forehead wrinkles as maybe there are eye wrinkles that I want to take care of. So I'm going to create a new layer, name it Forehead Edits. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to grab the Spot Healing Brush tool. I'm going to come up here on the mode, and I'm always doing this because sometimes I change the mode and I don't change it back to normal, and then I end up not being able to figure out why the brush isn't working like I want it to work. So I always come up here and check the mode to see if it's on normal, because that's usually what I want it to be. So it's on normal, I'm sampling all layers, I'm on my edit layer, and now with the Spot Healing Brush tool, I can go ahead and do some work on some of these wrinkles, right? And there's a little spot over there, maybe a couple spots here. And so I can come and move around and fix this area. And once I'm done, if I'm happy with it, there you go. That's what it looks like. Those are the edits I made. And notice on the opacity, I can dial them down or up any degree I want, however much I want them to have an effect. I'm going to now create a new layer. This is going to be eye edits, and I'll just move up a little bit more on this one eye. Got this Spot Healing Brush tool. I'm going to dial down the size just a little bit, and I'm going to try to fix some of these wrinkles here. Maybe dial up the size a little bit. You notice I'm getting some little bit of strange. There we go, that's a little bit better. There we go, I'm working these out. Oops, notice it caught an eyelash there, so I'm gonna undo that and see how it's catching the eyelash. So when that starts happening, what Photoshop is doing, it's reading pixels from somewhere else and it's making the decision about reading those pixels. So I want to make the decision. So that's when I switch to the Healing Brush tool. And I'm going to come over in this area right here, hold down the Option key, click a sample, and then I'm going to add that to that area right there. All right. Maybe get rid of some of that area right there. So I'm taking samples from different areas, and you can see that I'm using the Healing Brush tool to fix some of those wrinkles. Now back to the Spot Healing Brush tool, and lastly fixing a couple of those, and maybe a little bit there, a little bit there. And then I'm going to zoom out, and you can see that when I turn off the eye edits, there they are. There's a little bit of a darkness in there that I want to get, so I'll get that and take care of that. All right. Now zooming back out at 100%, you see that looks pretty good, but maybe it looks a little bit too good. And this is why now I'm going to dial the opacity down and let some of those show through just a little bit. All right, so I've got it dialed down to 52%, and maybe that's where I want it. Maybe just a little bit higher than that, maybe 60%. And there you go. That's how I've got the edits working. That's what I like. That's great. Now the last thing I want you to do is add another layer, name it Lip Edit. And on this layer, I want you to fix her lips because you'll notice that she's sort of got this funky shape on the middle top part of her lip. And the way to do that is with the clone stamp tool. So I'm going to grab the clone stamp tool and I'm going to make sure I have a smaller brush, and I'm going to make the hardness, I don't know, about 50%. We'll see how that looks. It might need to be a little bit harder. And I'm going to hold down the Option key and take samples of areas near the same color and then click on some areas to sort of fix the shape a bit. See how that's working? Hold down a sample, click, come over here, fix that a little bit. Sample, click, there's a little bit of a ridge there. There we go, we're kind of smoothing that out just a little bit. That's a little bit too dark over there, so I'm taking some of that. Now we're going to zoom back out at 100%, and maybe I need to shape that just a little bit more, but you get the idea, right? You're going to try to find and shape this a little bit. Now don't worry, remember you're on an edit layer, so you can turn that off and on and look at it, and you can even erase some. Like if I go way out here, see, look at that. I go way out there, and it's like, that's kind of stupid. If I like it, but I don't like the shape, I can go on that layer and grab the eraser tool. It functions like a brush with a hardness. I dial down the hardness a bit, and look at, I'm just erasing that. That was on the lip edit layer. See how that works? So there are other areas with the spot healing brush tool, like these little boogers on her nose and stuff like that, you can take care of. Go ahead, and I'm not telling you exactly how to do this. You might want to show some of the wrinkles, one student might want to show more than the others. That's up to your discretion. You do that. Just do this assignment like I've demoed it here, where you have these 3 separate layers that you're doing edits on. Save it as a Photoshop file and submit it according to the instructions. Have fun.